There is only one ranked versus ranked matchup happening in college football this weekend, and it takes place down in College Station as number 9 Missouri takes on number 25 Texas A&M. And I will tell you right now, this is a very tricky game. This is a tough game to pick, a tough game to figure out because to me, this is a battle between two teams that really haven't impressed me all that much. Missouri, yes, a top 10 team right now, but they really haven't looked great in their two biggest wins against Boston College, where they trailed 14-3 before having to come back to win by 6, and Vanderbilt, where they went to double overtime against the Commodores. A&M, on the other hand, yeah, they're 4-1. Their only loss was at home in the season opener to Notre Dame, but their two biggest wins have come against Florida and Arkansas, which really isn't too much to brag about, as both those teams are struggling mightily. So, what's going to happen on Saturday morning? This is really a pick-em game to me, but we are going to have to pick somebody, and we're going to do so right now here on the Gridiron Expert. So welcome back, guys. We're so glad you could join us today. As always, please continue to like, comment, subscribe, share our videos, and of course, check out everything down in the description below. That includes our website, thegridironexpert.com, home of our exclusive expert picks, some of the best college football and NFL spread picks in the entire country. We're beating out over 80% of the national handicappers currently this year, but we've also done so each of the last 6 years too. So we've got a pretty impressive track record going. We're on a 20-10 run against the spread. We are doing very, very well this season, and we want you to take advantage of it. It's a full year-long subscription, full 365 days for one of the lowest prices in the country, for some of the best picks in the country. You're never going to get all those things combined at any other handicapper site. We can promise you that. So go sign up for those picks today and become a member of our GE Nation. So let's take a look. Big SEC game, one that has pretty big implications. I mean, Missouri views themselves as a true college football playoff contender, and they really have a relatively favorable schedule the rest of the way after this season, or after this game. So they've got an opportunity to get a road win over a top 25 opponent, and if they do that, there's a good chance the Tigers could, at worst, go 10-2, but some could say 11-1. A&M, jury's still out on them. They're 4-1, but if you beat a top 10 team at home, and your only loss right now is to Notre Dame back in week 1, they're going to skyrocket in the rankings. People are going to be talking about them possibly being a playoff contender in year 1 under Mike Elko. You dive into the X's and O's, and we'll start on offense with Missouri. I don't think there's any debate that the Tigers have the better quarterback in this situation. They've got the star veteran Brady Cook, who's thrown for over 940 yards and 4 touchdowns this year, leading an offense that's averaging 265 passing yards per game. And he's got a lot of weapons. You've got a veteran quarterback that's very experienced with a lot of weapons at his disposal. You've got 4 players with at least 100 reception yards this year, led by Theo Weiss. Luke Burden has all 4 touchdowns this year, so Burden, we know, is one of the best wide receivers coming into this season in the SEC. We knew that. He's dangerous in the special teams as well. He has all 4 reception touchdowns from Brady Cook this year. The run game has been very solid as well. They're averaging over 200 yards per game, had 176 against Boston College, had 216 against Vanderbilt. Overall, this team actually has 11 rushing touchdowns on the season. As a team, 11 rushing touchdowns compared to just 4 through the air. So the key for Missouri is to maintain that balance. The key for Missouri is to win the line of scrimmage and get a good enough push against this pretty strong Texas A&M defensive line to make sure that they can establish a run. As we know, if you establish a run, it will set up the pass, and you'll be in for a good day offensively. When you take a look at A&M, I really think you've got to keep Marcel Reed in. And I think Mike Elko knows that too. Connor Wigman gets hurt early in the year. He's battled injuries throughout his entire career in college. And Marcel Reed comes in and has played very, very well. He played extremely well. 585 yards, 6 touchdowns, 0 interceptions yet, 230 rushing yards, and 2 rushing touchdowns. So he's a dual-threat quarterback. He's making the throws. He's doing a very good job of taking care of the football. Even when Wigman gets healthy, I think it would be unwise to put him back in. I obviously don't expect that to happen this Saturday, but 2-3 weeks from now, unless Marcel Reed gets hurt or starts to struggle mightily, he needs to be the leader of this offense, because I do believe A&M is better offensively with him in, at least from what we've seen from both quarterbacks this season. They're only averaging 393 yards per game, but 231 of those are on the ground. A&M ranks 13th in the country in terms of rushing yards per game. Reed has contributed to that. Le'Veon Moss has nearly 500 rushing yards. Amari Daniels has over 200 rushing yards. So including Reed, you have 3 players that have rushed for at least 200 yards so far this year. And that's going to be, once again, the key for A&M. The Aggies do not want to rely solely on the pass. They don't want to say, Marcel Reed, you've got to go out there and win this game through the air by yourself. They need the run game to get established. Missouri is balanced, and I do believe Brady Cook could win the game solely through the air if need be. I don't believe so much about that with Marcel Reed. Again, the run game is the most important thing for A&M heading into Saturday. And that, of course, is easier said than done. They're facing a Missouri defense that is only giving up 91.8 rushing yards per game. The most rushing yards they've allowed all year was 146 in that double overtime win against Vanderbilt, a game that, honestly, Missouri probably should have lost. The Tigers have not allowed a 250-yard passer all year. They have held 3 of their 4 opponents to under 200 passing yards. And again, that doesn't say too much when they've played, Murray State, Buffalo, Boston College, and Vanderbilt. It's been a pretty cush schedule up until this point. Keep in mind, this is also Missouri's first road game of the entire season. They're coming off a bye week, their first road game of the season. It's coming on October 5th, a whole month of playing in the confines of your own home. But what Missouri needs to do if they want to go on the road and win this game is they've got to pressure Reed. He's played well, but he's still young. He's still relatively inexperienced. Florida wasn't going to do anything to him. Arkansas was never going to do anything to him. But Missouri could be the team that does something to him, that does create pressure, that does force him into his first interception of the year. Bottle up that run game and put everything on his shoulders, and you're going to win the game if you're the Tigers. For A&M, their defense is pretty solid. It's pretty solid, and I think we would expect that from a defensive-minded guy in Mike Elko. Obviously, they have a tougher task at hand because Missouri is a more balanced offense. Missouri, like we said, can win it through the air. They can win it on the ground. There's not one. If A&M takes away one of those, Missouri can win it the other way, right? And I don't believe the same can be said for the Aggies. They're giving up 207 passing yards per game. They're giving up just 123.8 rushing yards per game. But the key for me, if it's A&M, is benefiting off of turnovers, just what they've done all year long. 16.5% of the points that A&M has scored this year have come off of turnovers. They have scored almost 20% of their points have come off of turnovers this season for the Aggies. They have forced 9 total turnovers. Last week against Arkansas, you could argue that the Aggies were outplayed. You could argue that Arkansas should have won that game, but Arkansas shot themselves in the foot. A&M had 3 forced turnovers. They scored 7 points off of those turnovers, and guess what? They only won by 4. So that one big turnover, which they blew up the play in the backfield, Arkansas fumbled, Aggies scored just a few plays later, that was the difference maker in the game. And it could be the difference maker in a game this Saturday against Missouri. Forcing turnovers and converting, just like they've done all year, will be the key for A&M to pull off this upset, even though they are slightly favored entering Saturday afternoon. So what is going to happen, guys? I mean, this is, again, to me, a toss-up game. I'm not overly impressed by either team. I think, for me, I don't even have A&M ranked in our GE Top 25 poll. I do have Missouri ranked as of right now, but I haven't been impressed by either team yet. And I really could see it going either way. I really do. And I'm actually going to surprise maybe a few people here. I'm going to slightly lean with Texas A&M. I'm going to slightly lean with the Aggies to pull off this win. I'm going to give the benefit to their defense. I'm going to give the benefit to the 12th man, home field advantage. A huge, huge game for the Aggies. They've played on the road a lot lately. I know they hosted Bowling Green, but they were on the road at Florida. Arkansas was in Arlington. So back home, hosting a top 10 opponent. I think this stadium is going to be rocking. I do believe Marcel Reed is going to give this Missouri defense a couple of issues here, especially with his dual threat ability. I lean towards the Aggies in what I truly believe is a toss-up game. Their defense comes through. The rushing game comes through. Marcel Reed makes a couple of quick, easy pitching catches. He's not going to have to do anything special, but if he takes care of the ball, they will win this game, and I think that's exactly what happens. A&M wins a close one in College Station. Maybe people start to believe the Aggies could be playoff contenders. Missouri takes a heartbreaking loss in their first road game of the season, one that could put a huge damper on their playoff hopes as the season goes on. So guys, as always, thank you so much for watching us here at the Gridiron Expert on YouTube. Leave your comments down below. Who's going to win, Missouri or A&M? Got a lot to talk about as we progress through the rest of this week, and we'll have more videos coming your way the rest of this week. All the more reason to like, comment, subscribe, share our videos, and checking out everything down in the description below, including our expert picks over on thegridironexpert.com. Hurry up and sign up for those today. Take advantage of those picks. Become a member of our GE Nation. And once again, as always, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time right here on The Gridiron Expert.